that graces the LAN circuit, and here in Katowice, after storming through the play-ins, we get Donk and the boys taking on one of the best teams in the world. It's NaVi. There may be no simple here, but don't sleep on this roster. They have been picking up some fantastic results with the newfound wonderful and Alexi B-led international lineup. Man, this is going to be a banger, no matter how you slice it.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, you know, this is the big matchup of the day, really. This is kind of sick. So Donk is already leading the charge, pushed all the way up through main, and he's got the rest of the boys in behind him. You already heard from Magix earlier on. They kind of want Donk to approach this like the tip of the spear. They want him starting strong.
I think also a bit early on with that information peak, right? They have no reason to move yet, and I think Spirit needs to show themselves somewhere else before going for this A execute. You can see NaVi didn't really move an inch except Alexi moving over towards mid to spot for information. And now we see that smoke for red. Let's see if that causes any movement. But Ima and Bit are just staying there. They have a smoke as well.
Ooh, attempted the chance spam from Alexi, but it won't find anything. Ima forced off of Donut. They might want to try and take a bit of space back after losing this control over middle. Alexi moves in, trying to lend a helping hand, but it's Chopper whose head's on a swivel. Good for the openers. Goes down after the fact. Donk falls immediately, and now it is just Shiro throwing into the clutch. Not a name you should ever forget about is Shiro. This fight is CT, and it's wonderful to fall down. Now just bit left in this, 10 seconds. Time is of the essence, and Shiro gonna need this plant. Taps on it, tries to bait the bait. Shiro lights them up. Another clutch for the clutch king here in Katowice. Look at him go. What a way to break into this series. It's a 1-on-2 or a 1v3 out of Shiro that absolutely decimates NaVi. The jump check is one bridge too far when you're up against this guy.
I am mind blown. Server-breaking headshot. No one was ready for that. That was almost the perfect play. To jump and check that is almost the best thing you can do. But Shiro comes in warmed up.
Donk who? Shiro reminds everyone that he's still on this server. Wow, what a clutch.
And what a way to begin the series. You want to believe in the favorite, and for good reason. Spirit aren't proven. This roster hasn't taken on the Titans of CS.
I think also, you know, to talk a little bit about the veto, I think them getting Ancient and Mirage as the decider, we were discussing whether NaVi is potentially going to not give them Mirage, right? Try to play something out of their comfort zone, but NaVi is also pretty good on Mirage, so they're willing to go to that map. As we see Chopper get 2 kills, the Mac-10's a little bit labored. But, you know, with all the hype surrounding Donk, it's obviously not about one player, and Spirit has been playing great. I mean, opened up with a 13-0. You know, in that game, sure, Donk played well, but so did Magix towards that B ramp. That's something Spirit does a lot when we go to their CT side, crunching that area. And there's not really a way, you know, if someone's saying, oh, just avoid them or counter, you know, like, players with an aggressive playstyle, they're going to go for fights, and it's about punishing them. The thing that makes them great is, even if a fight is not in their favor, they're still able to win it.
Yeah, you know, and I think something that someone even like a Shiro had to learn was when there's a lot of hype around you and then you kind of have those games where you fall a little quiet, dealing with that is like a whole different, you know, skill in and of itself. And so for someone like Donk, if he does get put off to a slow start in the series, maybe, you know, the usual peaks aren't panning out, does he have that sort of resilience built up yet? Especially when the stakes, the tier of competition is so high.
I have one of my monitors on a permanent Donk cam here for the duration of this series. Expect to see him hanging around the jungle side a lot here. He was doing a lot of late pops, sometimes solo, pushing through this mid-smoke up against the Mongols. I'm not sure if NaVi will let him get away with that. Wonderful is trained in on the angle right now. Smoke going to red, but you need a molly to break this position, and Wonderful awaits. There's that Molotov. Oh, it breaks. Well, it doesn't even land correctly. It doesn't matter. The threat of it is enough. Wonderful reposition. No Heaven to worry about. And he gets donked. Open up into middle. 5-on-4. And the AWP is gone from the round.
Still, it's swiftly equalized thanks to Alexi B up in the cave. Chopper falls, Donk with the trade, so 2 kills for him here, but caught knife out. And that's a nice, easy kill for JL. Donk thinking he's a lot more room than he did, and NaVi have just full adjusted. Moving over to play around the bomb. Team Spirit, they can't win this run. So Shiro and Zontix will just back out of there and hold on to these guns. NaVi get on the board in the 3rd round.
I think that was a bit strange in terms of calling after they get the kill, right? Not even trying to put some extra pressure, Donut really showing themselves towards the A bomb site before you try to make that play in cave, and then also going 1 by 1 here, right? Like, not, you want to be at each other's hips, so to speak, right? So you guarantee that trade kill, and 2 very important kills from Alexi B. Team Spirit still enough for a bye, but really had a big advantage in that round.
Straight up Heaven, and a break as well for IEM. But Spirit are relegated behind the smokes, behind the Molotovs.
Yeah, and I think, you know, IEM is an interesting talking point, right? I think we've definitely seen his level like creeping back up, which is a good sign. Obviously, when he was brought into this team post the Paris Major, he had a phenomenal performance there, and I think it was always going to be hard to replicate that, but it feels like he's started to settle into his own. So going to be someone well worth keeping an eye on in this matchup today.
Probably the team as a whole is in the same boat. It just getting output from, let's say, IEM and Bit on a consistent level, right?
Well, we have Bit here in the temple side. Wonderful jiggling from Donut into full A execute with a couple lurks out mid. IEM gets killed on Heaven, and they're going to come in on this Donut split. Loads of time. The pressure is not on Team Spirit, and they await the kill. Shiro is given it. Donk doubles up, and that might be a save forced here for NaVi. Overwhelmed by the A split. I do like how much Spirit have been taking delayed mid takes on the T side of this map. You can never truly get comfortable when you're on Heaven, when you're in the cubby. They will come through with 30 seconds remaining a lot.
And you could see even in the first gun round, NaVi is ready for it. The perfect counter. There's the op waiting. But Wonderful misses his shot. Donk kills him. They can't find the op for him for this round. And another entry from Donk.
Oh, he's dead.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what makes it so terrifying, right? Is when Donk is running it, yeah? And I know it's still early days, but the idea of, like, if you miss, you know, the one thing everyone gives him credit for is being ludicrously fast. And so he's got that to fall back on. There were kind of 2 chances there to find him in that round. And if you don't get the instantaneous kill, you bet he's going to be able to return that the other way. NaVi, their money now broken. They just have this 1 gun on JL. Curious where they're going to try and put him, how they want to play around this.
It's very tough because their loss bonus is going to be, you know, 2,400 if they lose this round. That's not a lot. They won't have an op. They won't have all the utility if they want M4s. So probably the goal would be to save the gun on JL and to steal 1 more for a teammate. That would go a long way to helping NaVi's chances in the following round, but we've seen crazier things happen. I think it's really cool for me following, you know, being around for a long time and remembering Chopper from Vega Squadron days, right? And getting some of those underdog teams to majors and causing upsets and whatnot. And it was always the case of having, not to sound rude, but inferior players to some of the counterparts in the CIS region, right? And now having guys like Shiro and Donk on your team, finally having like some of the sharpest tools in the shed.
Oh, this is
getting interesting.
Yeah, with Wonderful finding that, he's suddenly primed over in main to try a bit of say over how this one plays out. Even the nade retrieve goes on in, but Donk will dodge it, and with nothing being given, nothing gained there, NaVi head for the hills. They just want to get out with this AK in check.
But just to finish that point, you know, finally having like really good tools and now being able to show what he can do as an in-game leader from this position, I think that's really interesting. We shouldn't forget Mag is also only 20 years old, right? I mean, he's been around for 2-3 years now in this Team Spirit lineup, gaining experience, and it just seems that the vibes are at an all-time high.
Yeah, no, you defo get that vibe. And I think, you know, actually Magix is a super interesting one because he's survived through, you know, like iterations of the Spirit roster. But one of the things that was clear about him from when he first joined this team is like he was very kind of pliable, it felt like. You know, he kind of adapted to the tier 1 level very well. It felt like they put a good deal of faith in him. And I think you've seen him have to play in a variety of kind of spots and just accommodate that as time's gone on. I think for someone who was very young, one of the things we would always say early on was, yeah, this was cool when he first joined this team because he's kind of a blank slate. You know, you can mold him to be whatever you need him to be. And that's very much what Spirit have done over the years.
Yeah, and you know, on top of that, obviously under-talked about in this team for good reason, but Zontix and Donk both coming up together from the academy team into this main roster has to feel like a nice linear progression, both moving at the same time, clearly like playing with each other, sat next to each other as well. So I think, yeah, when you say the vibes are good, I definitely think that's a note worth taking for Team Spirit.
I think if you see Hooksy or Carrigan in this situation where Team Spirit is, they call an A rush or a B pop, like something like that now to break because they've won a couple of slow rounds. But let's see what Team Spirit does. Chopper needs a gun first.
Yeah, I don't know where that's gotten to.
He does.
Might be back in the water, or he might have to wait for one to be dropped over. Nah, he's got it. A little delayed buy.
That's dedication. He went in through the mid-util and then ran back to spawn to buy the gun.
Donk moving up ramp this time. There's no one even watching this. It's just a long player. Jail's tucked in, but you can win the round off this kill with Alexi so deep in the cave and not coming back anytime soon. Donk always heard the steps. Jail knows what's up. Donk gets that entry, and that is a very difficult situation for NaVi. As long as they plant for the long side, there is no stopping this. Through the smoke goes Zontix as the break comes in, and NaVi are pushed out of their own bomb site.
That should already be the round, right? Like NaVi, sure, they've got Alexi kind of trapped in the cave, but that's not a good thing by his book. He just wants to get out of here with the M4. They could even look to give chase here, and Donk will.
And these are the mind games with these timeouts, right? So Spirit was winning rounds, playing slow, taking mid delayed, right? Splitting A, or just showing that and trying to go cave, whatever, right? So, and NaVi's losing, obviously, so Blade takes a timeout. The call was apparently, you know, hey, let's just make sure we have mid and let's play heavy mid and, you know, a bit easier on the side. So Team Spirit, that's why I said a rush could have been good, but this is also just a bit faster, you know, going up ramp, just letting Donk search for a player. So a perfect counter from Spirit. They predicted correctly the adjustment from NaVi and were one step ahead. And that's what we talk about, like when we're on the desk or we talk about conditioning your opponents. That's what Spirit was doing. And now the game is, you know, it's pretty tough for NaVi because they tried different things. It's not working. Again, going for the heavy mid play.
Yeah, we've seen him get up here a few times, trying to help out in this fight for the lane control. This time he's got Wonderful backing him up in middle. So it's nice that NaVi kind of, you know, recommit to that idea, that thought of trying to hold on to this mid control heavier, not expecting a repeat. That kind of faster contact up through B ramp.
And for all Chopper's teams over the years, I feel like this is a roster where he feels most comfortable to actually play these really, really delayed rounds. We still see the rushes and the contact plays up ramp, but like I've seen a lot of rounds of Spirit are more than happy to sit behind this smoke at B doors and really drag it out. You know, NaVi are doing a great job right now of holding their utility at the minute mark. 2 smokes, 2 mollies still available, but Spirit will be able to take B lane late, and NaVi will no longer be here.
And look what happens with the time. game, right? You're just sitting still, and they have to sort of fall back because the utility has passed for them to hold those close positions and close angles, and Spirit, by just chilling, are now in a really good spot.
We got an A execute fake into a B walk, and right now there is almost no one at this B bomb site. If they keep creeping, NaVi might pull JL back once again. Will they fall for it? It's not looking likely.
They're going to start to walk up now. Donk, tip of the spear, first man in. Alexi's Molly going to force a reaction, and they go swinging into it. Donk perishes in the Molotov. Comes after Alexi's death, but he's done what he had to do in the round. With 15 seconds left, these kills matter as they lock out Team Spirit. Chopper will deal with JL. That bomb's still in no man's land, though, and there's no recovering this one. Even as Chopper picks it up, there just isn't time to plant. And so NaVi know they've done it. They don't even go peeking in. They don't give up those fights.
Great call for NaVi to not rotate outright. Not only does Alexi stay in the cave, he throws his smoke, and that draws Spirit, thinking that maybe we've forced the rotate out of JL. They all focus on cave. JL's able to swing out and not looking his way, and Alexi provides the perfect distraction for JL to drop the bomb. And Molly is excellent as well, and NaVi just win it to the time. So not falling for a little bit of fakery in that round from Team Spirit.
That was a really good round from Spirit, just a great individual play from Alexi. Also, you know, because of the lack of pressure from Spirit, he was able to save his smoke and his incendiary until late in the round. And if it weren't for that, Donk, you know, could have had a chance to kill JL as well, and that would have been probably Spirit's round from that point in time. So still only 2 players left alive for NaVi, no AWP. Spirit still with a lot of options, a lot of money in the bank.
And they might just go for something up-tempo here. That's a cave smoke being lobbed out from spawn, courtesy of Chopper. Going to nullify the amount that NaVi can look to get involved in this lane fight early, and that gives room up through ramp. Magix and Donk will open the round. It's Alexi back in the cave. Might have been able to reel them in last time they attempted this B play, but this time it's a whole different kettle of fish. Trapped on the other side of this smoke, even getting spammed down.
Oh, a nade.
He's borderline out of the round already, and with Ema in here with him, it's crazy to me that NaVi are even hanging around right now. They'll get silenced by Donk. It starts to back up. Ema still floating through the cave, and his journey back is not guaranteed. So this 2-man save that they're attempting isn't even a guarantee. And suddenly they get all the tech, and Spirit went hunting, but they're too far away. Oh, Bit's like so indecisive, and he never even tried running back in.
I think he could have.
That's wild.
Not Bit, but maybe Ema?
No, but Bit had the kit. It had to be Bit. He wasn't that far out.
That's so weird. I mean,
I want to go as far as
NaVi, like, you're not expecting the round to end like that, to suddenly get given all 3 fights, win them all, and still have some time left, but
I don't know why Bit wouldn't. I mean, it was close. It was definitely, you know, maybe not, but he was not that far out. We're
going to need the scientists to break that one down.
Someone get the demo.
On a metaphysical level.
You know, run back. Yeah, that bomb was definitely over halfway, but my God.
Jump through the multiverse.
Yeah.
See like, all the possibilities.
In an alternate reality, they did win that round.
I mean, I'm surprised they just didn't go for the save straight away. You know, that they were lingering around because it was very difficult, but now, I mean, you could see they can't go for a buy. It's just going to be a couple of pistols, most likely, for NaVi. I mean, Spirit just playing really, really well. The calls have been good, so, you know, it's not about Donk or doing something incredible outside of that Shiro clutch to kick off the game, but they're just in favorable positions, right? You can see JL, I think, was completely caught off guard by how close Spirit players were.
NaVi is still playing very weak numbers on B, right? They're not putting stacks there yet. We've got a fast mid-rush, and, well, there are the kills. And there may be the round, unless NaVi can get back to that A site quickly. One player already crossing past red, and JL will join him.
And those were the 2 rifles as well.
Yeah. Sontics through the smoke, looking for more.
You could see they were not putting any going for early mid control. Now they do it.
NaVi smoke A main, but they go back to gamble B in hopes that Spirit overthink this, but doesn't look to be the case. Now they're scared. It's a little bit quiet. They want to go for info in mid. Zontix is waiting.
I love how Chopper just like uses these creeping silences at moments. I think, you know, the round started at like 100 miles an hour on that mid play, but then there's an instant slowdown and you just kind of let NaVi stew in the awkwardness of it. Any route that they could try to go down to gain info back was being considered by Team Spirit. And so NaVi just kind of, you know, they fell out of this round from the moment it started, really. Once those kills went down in mid, there was no hope. Alexi, surely dead here, finds Shiro, is in the site. Everyone else is a little far away, but he doesn't have a kit, so no crazy ninja defuse at least. And Spirit pick up that round. 4K from Zontix to make it happen.
Yeah.
And obviously Donk running out mid alongside him.
I want to see if we start to see more than 2 players at that B-bomb site, right? Because Alexi is deep in cave on his own, and JL is long also on his own. So it's not even just the fact that there's 2 players there, it's that they're always separated. So when Spirit keep walking up ramp with 2-3 players, it's very hard to contain, no matter who's on the other side. We will start with 3B now for NaVi. They're going to block ramp immediately. Donk denies everything in middle. Despicable headshots.
Oh, that's just wild. Even a bit.
That's a star power of this team.
Yeah.
Those are the stars of the team. They're dead. They did a combined 47 damage.
He's just better. I mean, it's intentional. They are going for that fight. That's why they don't smoke it. They want to find that entry early on instead. It's just abyss.
It doesn't
they find Harry.
Yeah, I think they're probably feeling that way on NaVi right now.
dying like, dude, this guy's actually good. What?
There's probably some element, you know, you're coming into it. You're under no illusion that this guy's good, but there's maybe that part of you in the back of your mind that's like, nah, but come on, he's just kind of running at people. Like, we can beat that. And then he starts running at you, and it's like, oh god, this is terrifying. It's actually horrific to try and deal with.
Coming through the smoke, there's no respect from Spirit in these post plants. It's almost lost them one, but they have got NaVi trapped out in CT. Another smoke, another push, says Zontix as he goes gunning for the end of the round. 8-2. Donk sends his regards.
And he's giving fist bumps all around. Big smile on his face. Insane impact right off the top of that one. Once again, the round just kind of won or lost based on these mid-fights. And it's all Donk all day. Dude, I mean, you know, we were talking about Chopper earlier on and how, like, this is the best pieces he's had. But I think one of the things that's so sick there as well is, you know, we know this guy is someone that loves to play around with the pace of the game. You know, he likes his faster up-tempo rounds, and now we see him, like, taking these slowdowns more and more. But this is very much a team that will gladly embrace the chaos of a quick round hinging on a few fights.
This is probably the worst way a game can go for you, right? If you're NaVi, because it's not necessarily that your players are failing or making mistakes, right? What's happening is either your opponents are out calling you, like they're putting their players in better positions and you're just, you know, outmaneuvered in rounds, or they're just like getting the frags, right? Even though your players have the advantage, they're just playing out of their minds. So for Blade, there's not really an adjustment that he can make, something that can call, because even when the call is good, they still can't find the kill. So for NaVi, it's just about potentially, you know, trying to get around, you know, this round or at least the last gun round and maybe get some momentum of their own on the T side.
Even now, man, it's just bit over towards A, and these rotates are starting to peel around, but he's fed to the wolves. Zontix in main will find him, and now they learn about this split out through the donut. Donk dealing with Ema. Shiro already has his eyes on the prize back at middle, so this flank should get denied. And Spirit have often been, when the bomb's down, they play like the round's already won. Most of the time, it is. And so this one far safer by comparison. They just group up back at main. Look to have a nice, clean 5 alive round when all is said and done. NaVi, who have looked really solid as of late, on I think it is a 6-series winning streak.
Yeah,
and very stable performances for the most part.
Legit wins as well. 2 BO3s over G2. You know, they dispatched a VP in the RMR quals, took down Complexity.
Hey, man, I mean, considering this was like the Spirit level check for Team Spirit, right? This was us kind of gauging what it's like when they face one of the big dogs. This is an absolutely incredible way for it to have started.
Yeah, it's not even competitive right now, and NaVi have not had their foot in the door. If they get it in there, I fear their toes will be severed. Early nades in mid have been a frequent focus for Team Spirit. It does do a little bit of damage, but Donk waits for the fight, and he's going to get it. Sending his team in with him. The missed shot from the orb. At that point, it's not even Spirit. Wonderful just doesn't connect. Luckily, there's a second player hiding in this cubby. They don't know about Emo, and they might not molly it for a change. We've actually got NaVi putting focus on fighting in middle. It's going to be spammed through the smoke. Ema needs a multi-kill, or this round's dead in the water. I love that swing through the smoke. He only gets one, though. Donk equalizes and looks to get that bomb back under control.
Oh, Magic's trying to hit this timing up through Ram. Nearly awkward, but able to adjust back in time. He catches Alexi, smokes off CT. NaVi kind of need to go through this. They want to try and fight for the B control, and they take it back. A minute left to play with here. Chopper and Donk still up for Team Spirit, and NaVi are grouped. No, not grouped, rather. They split up. JL's aggressing down the ramp alone, and he'll catch them both to salvage a third for NaVi at the end of this first half. Regardless, it's Donk and the rest of Team Spirit leading the charge with a massive lead heading into this second half.
Out of funds to fight with, so a couple Deagles picked up, upgraded pistols. Olymp's got the Hero M4.
Yeah, he does.
And he's going to try and get in action immediately, but unfortunately, FaZe is rushing the B bomb site while this M4 is pushing out of A to see if he can get a cheeky kill. Kerrigan, if he's stuck at that angle, might have been able to have one or two.
Still has that chance, still alive, but it's Raven's coming through with that kill.
Now the AK-47s have arrived, and that MAC-10 ain't going to get anything done.
Frozen cutting off the flank through elbow, not expecting the second player, so Olymp with that M4 salvages a kill, but it should be the save now for Olymp with that M4. He's off to save it on the A bomb site. FaZe are through to 8 rounds, and we head into the last round of the half with FaZe ahead by a significant margin.
Yeah, strong lead. And it's going to be interesting now because the T side of this can be so tough. I want to see how aggressive FaZe is going to be in middle. If they're going to be pushing up and challenging at ledge down the B lane towards double doors, if they're going to be peek and cave, we know Rain is an absolute menace in that position. And if you can't control that B lane, this map gets real, real small.
Yeah, you'd have to imagine that's the style FaZe will bring as well.
And we haven't seen Rebels do any of that, right? They've pushed down mid a couple times, but they're not really willing to stick around and fight for anything. I'm very curious, because if FaZe are going to run that and Rebels can't stop it, it's going to be a quick second half.
Might only be a few rounds here if they get a 9-3 half and convert a pistol one in the second. Might not get many gun rounds. Rebels just having a chat over things. And it'll be an invaluable experience coming into this tournament with the lack of experience they have. And being able to play into the group stage of Katowice up against one of the world's best. They'll take away a lot from this, but they want to give a little more too. And Frozen's pushed out through middle. Control of mid already taken by FaZe, and they've got B lane with it. They've got every part of the map you desire in the early stages of this round. Broky posted up on top of the boxes. Waiting on an overextension. There's a bit of a push going on though, Jason. Look at this. Olim's taking some space.
Yeah, he's probably getting a little bit bored. Ooh, good shot. I want to go back to Flay. Let's see this off in this position now. We were scratching our heads.
Spirit are looking like the real deal right now, up 9-3. That's thanks to a hot start on the back of Shiro's 1v3 clutch. From there, everything comes up in their favor, whether that's Donk rip-roaring out through mid, joined by Zontix, some nice cooling out of Chopper, some fantastic pace changes to enable this scoreline. NaVi looking lost. Is there any hope for them to bounce back now that they move onto the T side here on Ancient?
Don't give him a smoke shot. Don't make it easy for him. They're going to run him down. Donk hears this and gets a good retreat to keep his round alive. Oh, he's got to run all right. Realizing fighting is his only option. Zontix from afar falls as well. 3 on 4. Magic does get that spot, but now knows his rotation is cut off by Bit, who comes hunting and gunning. No connections from these USPs. Firing nothing but blanks here for Team Spirit. And NaVi have that B site.
Shiro cracks his knuckles. Another pistol round needed. Let's see if he can do it with the dual Berettas. This time it's one step harder, and Bit locks him out of it with a hat trick to find the pistol for NaVi, doing what maybe he should have done all that time ago in the first round of this game.
That's a crucial round for NaVi, obviously with the momentum that Team Spirit has had, winning the pistol round. I think Donk does a great job of escaping, realizes Zontix is there, but instead of just holding with him, kind of goes back to search for the fight, and he was by himself there, so couldn't really do anything.
Yeah, I chuckled a little, you know, the only option is to fight, I think is what Hugo said, and maybe in Donk's mind, but throwing himself back around that corner did feel crazy.
Yeah, I think he's just realizing if I run all the way, there's a chance they're going to catch me, you know, with my back turn peeking. So, you know, sending it, that's Donk's speciality. But mortal in the pistol round. Spirit have to take a full eco and come through in the third. NaVi definitely considering something here. Don't count them out of a comeback.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, if they win this round and then the first gun round as well, they're right back in it. That's going to give their players some confidence. And on the T side, obviously you are the one who dictates the pace of the game. You are the one who, to an extent, chooses where the action is going to be. You can use your utility, right, to isolate opponents, give your players some favorable fights.
One thing to expect from Spirit on this CT side is a lot of B aggression in gun rounds, right? Popping through cave, coming down ramp on simultaneous timings, you know, not even necessarily fighting for mid every single time. Sometimes it is just Donk spamming red smoke, but that's all donut. Spirit do like their B pushes.
It's always a little bit tricky when you're down a considerable amount on T side, right? And you win pistol and they eco in the second round. Do you open up with a faster round to sort of condition them and maybe get a free round, so to speak? Or do you start with the default so that later on you can change the pace, right? We'll see what Alexi decides to do and what's the game plan from NaVi. Because absolutely Spirit puts a lot of focus towards that B ramp and just that whole area. So at some point you count on seeing NaVi with that A rush or a fast A execute, right? But hitting the timing for it, that's key.
Well, let's see what decision will be made. What's Alexi cooked up for this first round versus the Rifles? Instant B door smoke goes in from Team Spirit. We were promised some fighting here. Could end up getting it. Straight out mid, NaVi trying to keep the pace high, and Donk is caught trying to make his way into Donut. It's a lovely opener from Ema, who gives Team Spirit a taste of their own medicine. Yeah. With this faster play out in the mid. He's netted a 5-on-3 for his team. Spirit already. This one feels rough. You're relying on some individual heroics here as NaVi are kind of shuffling their pieces around, trying to group up, and with Shiro not finding that one, Spirit just take a bit of a gamble. They bring all these bodies over towards A and mid.
It was the flashes there amid. That's what absolutely ruined Spirit's day. Some early ones that you avoid already, and then delayed flashes that Spirit got caught completely off guard with. Nice mid-take from Ema, getting a crucial double kill when he's had a fairly cold game. So getting NaVi back in the swing of things here on the T side. This will be another round. Magis is looking, but unless they throw themselves at him, there's no way Spirit are given the satisfaction. Bit holding the extremity. He knows that Spirit are going to try and save. The question is, can they? Shiro can drop a gun over with that Galil saved. But they need 3 rifles into the next if they want to consider a fall buy.
And more importantly, he can buy an op in the next round if he saves his armor. So let's see JL. They're slowly trying to search for the NaVi players.
Ooh, no guarantees. And he will lose his armor. Still by Kevlar or if he's feeling naughty, but...
Thanks to that 1 kill with the Galil, yeah.
Yeah, the money is... Okay, Donk buys full nades and kit and armor, so he's expecting a drop. Spirit planning to buy up. Great flashes and great finish from NaVi.
I mean, you said it earlier on, you win the pistol, you win that first rifle, you're feeling back in the game, and NaVi certainly are. Just 3 between them and Spirit. If they break through this force up now from the Spirit squad, suddenly this is a borderline neck-and-neck game with NaVi chomping at the bit to get back into it.
Yeah, I think it's really important, right? Because they were not even close to winning rounds in the first half. And obviously the players are not going to be feeling super confident. It's just bad situation after bad situation. So now you're starting to roll a little bit. It's going to feel better. Okay, we can actually do this. You're gaining some confidence. And we still might have a game on our hands. Fake A-Rush.
Lexi gonna try and sell it. Oh, the flash blinds Shiro, but he wrestles with that M4 and will secure the kill to Alexi. Chopper already makes it down the ramp, and that's the bomb tumbling away from NaVi. With it, maybe the round. Ema and Bit both perish at the hands of Zontix down here in middle.
Don't know what NaVi were really hoping for after Alexi dies with nothing in A, no fake sold. They walk through a B smoke, they walk through a mid smoke. It's optimistic at best for NaVi.
It's a little bit of an all-in call, but if you go back, like, you can see how it caused a massive rotation from Team Spirit, right? It's just that Chopper with that deep banana, with the door smoke, can play close to it and gets 2 really massive kills. Obviously, shuts down NaVi completely there. And the jig is up also, since Shiro was playing deep, or Zontix, he gets that kill on Alexi. You know, if they're playing, let's say, even from Temple or Site or CT or Donut, they don't get that information so early in the round, and then there's a higher chance of the round working for NaVi. And it's also, you have to sort of call something like that. You know, you can't expect to go all the way back, mount the comeback with just playing default all the time. It becomes a little bit predictable.
I mean, this tag team, we've seen it deliver before for Spirit. It's Zontix and Donk in tandem, right? They can sometimes feel very, very similar. Donk gets a lot of the attention, but I think Zontix has given us some great games even throughout the play-in. The Zonked duo.
NaVi are looking a little zonked right now. Need to wake up in this round or this map will be over. Rifles on all but 1. And maybe a mid pop through the smoke. Chopper getting aggressive on the cave as expected. And here's that flash. Fantastic. Shiro wasting all his bullets, but he won't live much longer. Donk does in 2, but everyone falls around him, and NaVi break their way into the B site. Bomb has to make it. Oh, if Zontix had his gun out there, could have been something, but NaVi will get a path to safety and a plant.
I mean, I think once they heard the spam on the lane Alexi's rubbing his hands together right there. They're ready to pop through that mid smoke. And even though Spirit had a lot of bodies dedicated towards mid, they knew the attention was being put more so on taking that lane control. But there would have been some opportunity here, and NaVi realized that opportunity well. A nice way to restabilize themselves here, keep that hope alive of pulling this game back. A needed round at a critical juncture here goes the way of NaVi. Oh. They're even looking to remove this gun right at the end. Zontix gets out and NaVi call off the hunt. At this point, they're thinking about their own money more than that of Spirit's. Even removing this M4 wouldn't have had, you know, huge consequences. Spirit would have still been coming through with the buy, so they just give Zontix that respect.
What it does do is allow him to drop an AWP over to Shiro, who can now have nades with it, and, you know, just playing longevity here for Team Spirit. NaVi are right behind them. 3 rounds is the difference. With a full buy coming right through for Team Spirit.
The frag onto Magix from Wonderful was round-defining, really. If Magix wins that fight, they still have a chance, but that pops open the B bomb site. Now with another fast mid take, able to get control one more time.
Donk breaks window smoke and fights for it. Meanwhile, Spirit continue this aggressive posture at B. I love the spam. He's selling it. Magic is just setting Chopper up to walk through that smoke. Meanwhile, Donk does the same and connects his spam as NaVi get locked off at the door again. Alexi goes through. It's a very deep smoke. And Spirit are fine with that. 5-on-3. As long as they don't forget that this ramp timing is open. Gonna check cave. Chopper. Oh, there's no spot. He'll see it. Molly comes down, but they're up ramp as well.
Yeah, they're in behind Chopper, but he just focuses on this cave fight. Not worried about ramp yet, and his teammates rotate in and make quick work of NaVi. That round is all Chopper and Donk making aggro plays down through B ramp is Chopper. That's how he opens it. A nice retreat back to cave and good prioritization of those targets to tee him up for all 3 kills. Donk, meanwhile, gets one off of this chart spam in mid and then is in the right place when the round culminates over at B.
It does feel like we're getting Chopper's best fragging yet in this team as well. Like through all the iterations of Spirit and his previous CIS squads that have made runs that Yanko talked about, felt like we get more fragging out of him now than ever before. He started the year off with some very strong maps in Copenhagen as well, with a mishmash roster, without even the big pieces there for Team Spirit. So, yeah, that's just another problem to deal with.
I mean, there's a lot less pressure on you when you have guys like Shiro, Donk. I mean, everyone on the team, right? You know, we have very capable players, so it's not on you to frag necessarily, so you're playing with more freedom. And NaVi here basically conceding match point to Spirit would have been a really poor buy, so they want a little bit more.
Oh, Shiro.
Shiro is all
the rotates are a long way out considering they have all this control at lane, and that shot only being a tag, at least he gets back into the temple. Worst case scenario would have been losing that AWP. Now the rest of the guys can make their way over from mid, and it's a mowdown, it's a cleanup. The danger of the round dodged when Shiro retreats. Spirit onto map point.
Plant denied as well. Goes from bad to worse. If you thought last round's buy would have been bad, well, this one's not that much better. You won't have full util for Wonderful on this T side, and this may be all said and done on Spirit's map pick. NaVi pinching pennies in the final, or potential final round of this game. Important bomb denial for Team Spirit there. Got a very fast B play for JL. The molly kind of forces him in, and he will take that opportunity. He's been the only one fragging in this game for NaVi, but that will come to an early end.
And they're trying to bully this B hold of Magix and Chopper, but Chopper is just not giving them an inch. Nothing for free. Bit dead. And now he's going to smoke off the cave. Get a bit more passive with it. Zontix, in the meantime, has taken all this space. Spirit still remaining active in spite of being in the 5-on-3. They know this means there's holes in the NaVi default, and Zontix is well aware that he has found one. This backstab will end this, surely, just the one. They turn back in time. They deal with him on the A push. But for Ema and Alexi, it might just be coming to grasp the fact that this one has gotten away from them. Well, not even. They were never even in it. The comeback denied.
Such a dominating performance from Spirit. They've been one step ahead for the majority of this game.
And even there, Magic's just probes for a second, gets the info as to where they are. And Spirit ease back into the bomb sites. They're going to double up over towards Cave. Now that they know it's not there, they spot them coming up ramp. It's all become clear to Team Spirit. The rotate's coming in, and Magix, who has been quiet here, locks Ema out of it. Team Spirit looking like the real deal. NaVi were meant to be their first proper test yet, and they get through this first map with ease.